These are the funniest webcam chat site stories that I've ever seen or heard of. Okay, in this first story, I didn't actually see this one go down, fortunately, but a good friend of mine did, and he told me about it. He was on this webcam chat site, and keep in mind, it wasn't a porn site. It was a site, like most of them, that has strict rules against nudity. He goes in there, and this guy comes into the room, and he comes up on the webcam, and his screen name was Doggy Style 1, and the name fit, and you'll really see why soon. But this guy, he strips down, and he gets his cock and balls on the screen, and then he gets this jar of peanut butter, and he starts taking the peanut butter out, putting it on his hand, and slathering it all over his fucking nutsack. Then the guy's goddamn dog comes in the picture, and the dog starts to lick the peanut butter off the guy's nutsack. Now, people were fucking yelling and screaming for the moderators to take the guy out of the room, but there were no moderators to be found, and it took about 10 to 15 minutes for somebody to get a moderator in the room, and the moderator kicked the person out. But, wow, that was a fucking classic story. Okay, in this next story, yeah, this one happened when I went into a public room on the webcam chat site Stickam.com. I go in there, and there's about 70 people in the room, and on the 12 available webcam slots, 11 of them are filled, and everybody was just typing, and they were typing some really boring shit too, and nobody was talking, even though half of them could because they had a microphone. Really fucking boring. Unfortunately, quite a lot of the people on those webcam chat sites have absolutely no personality whatsoever. Well, not everybody can be Garanchev and can talk and be so charismatic, can they? But, anyway, really boring scene, but then all of a sudden, this one person takes the available webcam slot, and we see this, right off the bat, we see this really fat guy, and he's got this really tiny dick, and we see a close-up of him jacking off his really tiny dick. Now, this really catches me by surprise and fucking shocks the hell out of me. And I'm like, what the fuck? That guy's jacking off. Oh my god. And I look over at the other 11 people on webcam, and none of them even flinched. They didn't talk about it. They didn't type about it. Their facial expression never changed. And this shit went on for a good 5 to 9 minutes, I'd say. And finally, eventually, a moderator came in and kicked that fucker out. And also, they have strict rules against nudity on Stickam, but they don't seem to enforce it too often. But I realized why the people didn't acknowledge the guy after a while. And that happened because these people were so fucking used to seeing naked guys come up on camera unpredictably and jacking off that it hardly even consciously registered for them. That was a great one, yeah. Okay, and in the next story, this one also happened in a public room on Stickam.com. I go in there, and this guy was playing this fucking hardcore anal porn. So it was this guy who was fucking this girl in the asshole, and this guy would withdraw his dick out of her asshole every now and then, and her asshole would start prolapsing really powerfully. Now, if you don't know what that means, that's basically when the asshole turns inside out. And her asshole was coming out like 3 inches, and it's really so fucking hard to look at when that shit happens, because it like pulsates like a heart, and it's like, I mean, it's fucking sick. So anyway, I'm looking at this, and I was apparently the only guy in the room who knew what was going on. Everybody else was really confused about what was happening, and I could hear cries from people like, what the fuck? Is that a baby's head coming out of her asshole? And somebody else was like, well, is that her pussy moving around? What the fuck is that thing? Yeah, apparently they hadn't watched too much porn. At any rate, yeah, if you stick around on webcam chat sites long enough, you're going to see some fucking crazy shit. Well, I hope you folks enjoyed my stories, at least somewhat, and perhaps I shall see you later. Bye-bye.